Everybody's glad to see Mom this morning. Come on, Tux, let's go. Let's go to your spot, Tux. Come on, Tux, let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go. Let's go to your spot. I don't know why you just don't follow me when I set the dishes down, but okay. You're here now, that's all that matters. So, I'm sure you guys can't hear it with the inflatable rumble and the rooster. But there's this, it almost sounds like the Tesla backup noise. Somebody on Facebook said it's the cicadas, and it's like they sound like this alien spaceship getting ready to land. But it's not like evenly distributed all around you in the woods. There's like pockets of where it's loud. And I hear it, it's what I'm trying to tell you. And I'm pretty sure that that is what that sound is. Donna and I couldn't figure it out yesterday, and we're like, well, it can't be the cicadas because it's not surrounding us. But I definitely hear it. There are pockets in Fuquay where people have been posting basically, I guess they've swept up the cicada shells, and there's a lot of them. We're seeing, you know, some in our yard, but not to that level. If I walk around and look at the ferns, I can see where one or two was attached. I'm coming over here to film this. One year, I looked up what it was. It has a leaf like a camellia, but it's not. And it does have a scent, not the prettiest and not a bad smell. I'll have to look it up again. I hate not knowing what things are. Yep, things are coming along nicely out here. Need to get out here and do more weeding. Most mornings I've pulled a 3x3 spot. It's not enough to keep up with it, but yeah, I can hear it out in the woods for sure. So we're taking Johnny to Campbell University today. His school robotics team, the UNCC robotics team, is competing. Johnny's not competing, but he's going there to show support and help and hang out. And so we'll take him in a bit. He's not having to be there for check-in and testing and all that stuff this morning. But once the action gets rolling, you know, he should be there for that. So we'll drop him off. It's about 30 minutes away. And then when he lets us know he's ready to come home, we'll head back down there and grab him. Backcountry roads down to Irwin. There's a Walmart down there. I've already told Don I want to go in and check Legos and Hot Wheels. And plants. Feel like Dan Monroe instead of music, movies, and monsters with Hot Wheels, Legos, and plants. There's one. Still in his shell doing his thing, hanging out. Good morning, Panther. Hey, bud. Hi. Yeah, I can definitely hear the noise off in the woods. It's just like not local to our yard. It's this low white noise. It sounds like white noise. Hi, sweet girl. Uh-oh. What's going on with that? Okay. Well, I brought you some fresh stuff for whatever reason you didn't want that last night. So we're on our way down to Campbell University, Carter Gym. Dropped Johnny off. Don and I were planning on trying out a trail near the Cape Fear River. I don't think this rain is going to be solid, so we'll probably still do that. And I had said I want to go to the Walmart, so we can always one or the other first. Yeah, see, that was just a little bit. Most of the rain, I think, is later in the day. I watered this morning to help ensure that we would actually get rain. That's how that works, right? You gotta pay your dues anyway if you want to get the rain in the summertime. So yeah, it was sticky out there. I was getting pretty hot just walking all over the yard. This is the second roundabout. The first one she handed perfectly, although I will say there were no other cars in the roundabout with her, but still, yeah, we get excited. We didn't curb the wheels. Yeah. There's the big
And she uses her turn signal to exit the
roundabout. There's the big camel statue.
Yep.
We're headed to Carter Gym specifically.
She says it's 3/10 of a mile up here.
Yeah, it's this building on the left. Thinking I remember being in and out of it. No, no. We'll figure it out.
We'll see. Offer to park?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to check that out. Go down on the garden center end.
Sure.
Because I don't see her popping up. You are technically going really slow and in a parking lot, and I don't see her.
Well, she thinks she's got 200 feet to go.
Right. But I mean, ultimately what we want her to do is to come into the parking lot at the destination. Surely 200 feet from the destination is where you would want to park. But
there's nobody behind me.
I guess she's going to have to check off maybe.
I don't know.
I'm at my destination.
I don't.
We need a way to tell her I like the garden center pharmacy door and not the market door at Walmart. I have a preference car.
Right. When you say you want to go to Walmart, she said
auto park navigation complete. So you're taking over. I guess she's not going to offer, let's think back on this from FSD mode. Nothing happened. Well, you can try to park with me. Just because I want to film it and see what she does. Maybe if you go back down one of these lanes on the, you know, go further down the garden center end, then she'll offer. One can only hope.
Well, let's see. She gonna... I mean, I'm gonna let her. If she wants to park on these parking places or offers it, I will.
Well, Don's only going 5 miles an hour here, and she's not offering him parking.
Well, this is pull-in parking anyway, and I haven't heard anybody talk about pull-in parking. They keep showing this back-in parking.
Okay.
All right, I'll take you up there one more time.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars reference. It is May the 4th. Don and I both have on our Star Wars shirts. Johnny was dressed for UNCC competition stuff. Oh, I do like that color. But they're $15, so you know my $3 yellow one is very pretty. Wow, you can still get the 4-packs or the 6-packs, whatever size that is here, and they're in great shape. Garden center's looking good. Very nice begonia, creeping jenny, and coordinating coleus. Wow, double-sided and full of stuff, including the minifigures. I like this Walmart. Well, I found one Tesla Y. Really well stocked, well cleaned. It was a good store here. Well, that Walmart was so nice it would almost be worth coming down here instead of going to either of the local Walmarts. That's how nice that. It's huge, and it was well stocked, and there were a lot of employees, and things didn't look like people were stealing stuff in there. It was just very tidy. It was a pleasant shopping experience. So this is a park in Irwin, which is where the Walmart is, which is just about 6 miles farther down the road than Campbell. And Don thinks we can pick up the trail that walks along the Cape Fear River here. So we're looking into it, but literally there's no one here. Well, wow. We could have walked out in the sun over the ball field to get to this park, but we just figured out where we were really supposed to park to get on the river trail and move parking lots. Busier over here. People want shade and the river, and there's no ball games going on today. So there's a short trail, a view, places to fish, another Cape Fear River access point, because like Don said, there's not too many roads that go over the Cape Fear.
That's right.
And it's nice and cool down here, shady.
And got these rocks up at the far end. We're at the one end, but if I understood the map that I looked on Google, there's going to be some like these rapids up the river.
Okay.
At the other point, the third lookout. This is the first lookout spot. Well, actually, I guess the lookout spot's up there, but it looks kind of woody.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can see a whole lot.
I'll stay out of the thicker part of the woods because of the poison ivy. I've already seen some. The trail is good though.
It's supposed to be like this the whole way.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Well, this is one of the lookouts, observation decks, and you can see pretty good from here.
Yeah.
Not wide open by any stretch, but
yeah.
So just to clarify for those not in the area, this is the same river that when we go down to Raven Rock State Park and do the 3.5 mile loop that we're walking along down there.
Yeah, well, remember the Cape Fear River is, Fayetteville is the furthest point that you can navigate up the river. That's why Fayetteville is where Fayetteville is, because north of Fayetteville, these kind of rocky things that you're seeing here is very shallow. You can't get boats, so you could sail a ship, I don't know, barge.
Today, yeah.
Well, I meant back in, remember there were no railroads, there was no roads. It was nothing but woods between here and the coast. So waterways were an excellent transportation resource. So, but until you had to ford across these rapids that can't go, so they could go up to Fayetteville, and that's as far as
coming in from Wilmington or wherever.
Coming in from England or India or China.
Right, but I mean our coast, North Carolina coast, you can come in as far as Fayetteville.
That's right.
We're on the official trail. There's a marker. There's the parking lot. There's a beautiful pin oak tree. Just gorgeous. And down this way is the other observation area. And a business whose name I can't read quite at the moment. Don said it's closed. It's Staple Cotton, something like that. He says it's a mill.
Well, back in, I don't know, 60s, 70s, 80s, let's say the 80s, and maybe into the 90s, Irwin was one of the biggest denim producers. This is, a lot of your blue jeans came from here.
Okay, I did not know that. We do have a Wrangler warehouse. I'm struggling with the word, but we've got Wrangler in the state, and that, so I guess that kind of makes sense. When we go that 421 up to Greensboro, there's a big brick building on the right, and that's Wrangler, and they still have a shop there for some retail. And
I think Arrow shirts, I think they were made here.
Arrow shirts.
Yeah. This is one of the again the textile places, because I guess I-95 was there. The river again was here. So this is another spot where they
makes sense.
made mills.
So this over here is all jewel weed. That thing that attracts the hummers and looks like little miniature orchids later on. It likes moist, humid, partially shaded. You know, it's basically, this is very sandy soil here because we've gone south from the house toward, technically toward the coast a bit. So yeah, they probably still do a little something here, but not like in its heyday. Maybe people just store stuff inside the warehouse because those loading docks there appear to be open.
Yeah, well, they still have power on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it abandoned.
Yep, there she is.
Yeah.
Big rocks, very shallow looking water. You can definitely see.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I was telling Don that tree right there is a redbud. I've seen several of them out here. It's not in great shape. It's kind of fallen over from over here, but it's the one with the heart-shaped leaves that has the purple that kind of grows off the wood, the flower in the spring.
And there's your favorite vine.
I've seen so much poison ivy today, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, if you want to teach your kids what poison ivy looks like, this is the park to come to. I don't think you can't, there's nowhere you can look that you don't see poison ivy.
Right, but the trail is clear. But that father that was leading his kids fishing up along that little trail, tiny, not real trail, but you know, human-made trail. I was like, oh God, no, don't take the kids up there. He's going to bring them home with poison ivy, and they are not going to have a good weekend. But it wasn't my place to say. Yeah, it's just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. But the trail is nice and clear, so as long as I don't stumble and fall into it, we're good. You can't catch it by walking beside it. Well, with the way my luck is, but I leaned on the handrail back there, and I was a little concerned about that because God forbid somebody had touched poison ivy and touched the handrail. Red honeysuckle, how pretty is that? And I was admiring the sassafras here, the little glove-shaped leaves. So Pokemon Go doesn't know about this trail that we continued on. There's apparently trail this way and trail that way. We're trying to, I think we're here. We just, you know, it does look like it goes on down to Pump Station Road. It continues on, but there's a connector over here to the Dunn-Irwin Rail Trail.
If I was going to say this is where we are.
Right, we're here, and this is a connector over to the railroad trail.
Right. We were at this park a little earlier. I think this is the park we were at.
But we actually parked here.
Yeah, we're parked here, but
we came around the corner from where the ball fields were.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the purple? Dunn-Irwin Rail Trail.
That's the one on the old railroad tracks, I guess.
Boy, that's going to be out in the sun. That's going to bake. There's no shade on. Anytime there's a railroad, there's no shade.
Right. Well, I don't care if we walk a ways farther down this.
Yeah, just that's the end. We'll go there.
Yeah, well, here down at the bottom, North Carolina Rail Trails, just they're letting us know they're part of that interconnected, or they've done that a lot with abandoned railroad tracks. Well, we can see more rocks and hear more rapids.
This is what the thing was pointing to. That other one was not the same, not this one. This is the one that it was saying it was right at the rapids. But I definitely agree, those are Black Rapids.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
So we're reminiscing about where we were when Star Wars came out and what we thought. And of course, Don's older than me. He was already working.
Yeah, I was actually had IBM hired me in May. In the first week of June, they sent me to Chicago for 3 months in base school. And the Star Wars came out that time. I didn't see it early on. It had been showing for a while. But I saw it in downtown Chicago at a humongous theater. Old school, you know, really elegant and gilded and all that stuff. It was a very, very elaborate, you know, old-timey. Remember going to the theater back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. It was like going out to a concert or something. You know, you got dressed up. This was one of those. Anyway, the point being, I was with a bunch of other guys my age because we were all in base school, and somebody hadn't heard a thing about it, and they said, "Hey, let's go see this Star Wars movie this weekend. It's showing it, yada yada." And I said, "Well, it sounds good. You know,
why not?
Why not?" So I guess I'm very thankful that that person did that, because I probably wouldn't have saw it. I mean, I would eventually have seen it, but I wouldn't have saw it right there when it was a memorable event. I would have just saw it in some local theater, but you know.
Yeah, you were 20, I guess, or had just
20?
turned 21.
No, I was just 20.
Okay.
And I would have saw it in some local theater, and it wouldn't have been quite as memorable. But that, having seen it in Chicago, having seen it in a very elaborate theater, and plus when I saw it, I came out of that, my jaw was hanging down. It's like, wow, I had never seen anything like that. I mean, I really enjoyed it when I saw it.
Yeah, I saw Star Wars in New Jersey and The Empire Strikes Back in North Carolina, and I'm going to say that I was 8 or 9, probably just turned 9 when I saw Star Wars. And I remember going to the director's chair theater in Trenton to see it, and it being up on the marquee out front, and that was not a ritzy theater, but it was a theater. But I don't have a lot of recollections of it. The one I really remember is The Empire Strikes Back, because, oh my God, gasp, Darth Vader was out front of the movie theater.
Oh my goodness.
This was before the 501st Legion, you know, and kids are used to seeing these dressed up characters.
Yeah.
You know, I'd been to Disney World, I knew about dressed up characters, but I think, honestly, I may have really thought it was Darth Vader. He was down outside in front. I don't know if he was a cosplay person before cosplay was a thing, or if he was hired by the theater, you know, certain locations, but we went to see it in Charlotte, not the little dinky theater in Monroe.
Yeah,
if there was one even in Monroe then.
I should try to find that theater that I saw it in.
Yeah, well, maybe one of our friends watching from Chicago might clue us in as to what that theater
was. Not far from State Street, and what's that? You know, not too far from the Water Tower.
Yeah, Water Tower Mall.
But it wasn't on
Wacker Street.
Wacker, yeah. It was in that area, that general area.
The people from out of town like to make fun of that street.
Wabash or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, my father always watched science fiction, so I had watched Lost in Space and watched Space 1999 and other science, you know, I'm sure I'd seen Forbidden Planet at that point, so I don't know. It was, I don't remember the first movie being super memorable, but they got more memorable after that.
Oh, all the other ones, none of them took me like Star Wars, because I remember I was so impressed that the fighters, the X-Wing fighters and all that had smudges and stuff from the gun, you know, from the guns. In other words, it wasn't all pristine models, and you know, the way the effects made the ships look so big, and the Death Star. I'm just saying, at all levels, it worked for me.
Right. Well, I'm also going to say that it is quite possible back then that I didn't totally get that there wasn't like a person inside the droids, or C-3PO or whatever. Maybe C-3PO was a person, I don't remember. B9 on Jupiter, on Lost in Space, there was Bob May, there was a person. But, yeah, that technology side of it really fascinated me. I've always wanted my own robot.
Well, Elon's gonna make that dream come true.
I'm hoping, at a price Don will let me have one in my lifetime. So leave us a comment and let us know where you were, what you were doing, whether it made a long-lasting impression on your life,
or it was
etc.,
just another movie.
Yeah, I've met like 2 people in my lifetime that tried to brag to me that they'd never watched a Star Wars movie, and I wanted to ask them what was wrong with them. I'm sorry, I said it. I did.
Oh, wow.
Well, even if it's not for you and you never watch it again, I think everybody watching Star Wars one time is kind of a rite of passage of being an American and technology advancing society. Whether it's your thing or not, I don't care, but like never watched it and proud of it.
Gone with the Wind back when
even
my mom
I've seen
was
it.
a young adult.
Yeah. Even I've watched Gone with the Wind, so yeah, it's just one of those things at least once. Yeah, and I don't want to, you know, have blasphemy here on May the 4th, but you know, Logan's Run and Star Trek were long-term more impressionable to me, and Battlestar Galactica than possibly Star Wars.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I always like
could have had to do with my age.
I always liked 2001 Space Odyssey, but because of the ending never made any sense, which I have now as an adult learned that they didn't want the ending to make any sense. You know, it's myth, I don't know what it is. I still haven't figured it out, but you know, it was a great movie right up to the end. And then they didn't know how to end Kubrick didn't know how to end the movie, or Clark didn't, because I've read the book. The book's just like the movie. Clark didn't know how to end the book either, so they was like, we'll just do this.
Yeah, and I guess really my final point would be is I just knew very early on I liked everything that had to do with all science fiction. All right, there she is. So we're technically in Linden, North Carolina now, on Main Street. We just passed a little park with a little splash pad. There was a thing on the ladies of Fuquay yesterday, basically complaining that Fuquay doesn't open till Memorial Day because it's already stinking hot and little kids need something to do. And there were several listed in the area as being already open. And I believe this one was one of the ones in the list. Not super huge, so the whole city of Raleigh should not try to come to this one, but all at one time. Nice barn out there. I like the shape. We've seen a couple of trash bags along the road and not a lot of trash. I think here's another one coming up here on the right by this street corner.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, this community cares and somebody looks after this road as part of the state trash program. But you can swat a litter bug. If you see somebody littering, there's an official form to fill out, and you can put their make and model of their car, and you can put information out there. North Carolina's got a program for that. Yeah, here's some more. That was definitely one on the left there.
Yeah, we're not super far from Fayetteville. I mean, we're not super close to Fayetteville either, but you could certainly work in Fayetteville and live here. This is not an outrageous, like living in Fuquay, working in RTP.
Yeah, I saw 25 miles to Fayetteville a sign a while ago, so you're right. We're certainly within the realm of possibility to live and work.
Used to be here.
Oh, it is a new roundabout. Yeah, well, I mean, all the cement is.
Yeah.
All right, that's the third circle we've gone through today.
Yeah.
I stuck my tongue out at it, Mr. Roundabout. We are now in Bun Level, North Carolina. We're back on 401, headed toward Lillington and the house at this point. We sort of made a little bit of a circle. I'll have to put in the Teslafy map. I love the maps when they're have circular sections to them, but yep. Bun Level. Just in case you never heard of it. Not to be confused with Bun or Dun. Yeah. Which are also legitimate cities not too far from here. Both with a double N on the end to get it right.
I'm impressed. She's driving very well on and very human-like. I mean, she's made a couple turns that I wouldn't have made them any quicker. The decision I made, that I always faulted her for being so hesitant sometimes or slow to make the decisions to go or stay. And only one time today did she seem a little bit slow on the uptake. But all the other times she's been spot on. It made the decision just like I would have in the same amount of time.
Yep, our experience today is very positive.
Yeah.
Don asked for food and I asked for electrician service. Trying to make a determination on, oh, you got them to light. If the battery was bad or the light string was kaput. The battery was bad.
I don't think so.
Okay, just wasn't getting enough sunlight?
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Huh, okay. So I had the parts for 41366, this Lego Friends set. I guess it's a ice cream stand. I wish Lego would put the official name in all of the places where they put the number, and they don't do that. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can put it back together. It came from Guardian Angel in a bin some time ago in a Ziploc bag. And so I don't really know how much of it's here or isn't here. Somebody else that was donating said, these parts go to this. Let's put them in a bag. Way cool. I don't have a lot of this as dark azure, this blue color here. So hopefully I'm not missing those pieces because that would be probably hard for me to come up with. I don't want to get into trouble, but watch Dr. Westman, Dr. Eric Westman, Adapt Your Life Academy. He is a MD over at Duke University Hospital. So if I wanted to go see him, I could make an appointment. He's got about a 4-month wait because I've looked before. He knew Dr. Atkins, and he studied under him, did some work with him at one point during his early career. He helps people reverse diabetes, and he does teach in his clinic a low carb lifestyle in order to reverse, get rid of diabetes for most people in most cases that come to see him. And oh, by the way, lose weight. I break his rule about too much dairy. Dairy's fine. The amount of cheese and whipping cream I ingest is above what he says is okay. So I know that every day. So if I want to get serious, I'm going to have to do something about that. But the point I really wanted to make about him, besides the fact that I think he's a wonderful person, cares about people, really tries to be the old school, what people I think my age expect of somebody that's a scientist, a doctor, and really cares about where the data leads. Like he says sometimes he supports some things the other YouTube influencers say, but since he still works in the Duke University system, you know, he has to follow the data. As long as he's got data backing him, then, you know, he's good. So there's a couple times he wants to say something he can't. And when he does these refute videos, these Dr. Reacts videos, he's going based on studies and stuff. So, anyway, I think this was a really good video because it has not so much to do with carnivore, vegan, low carb, whatever, but it sort of has to do with claims people make and someone that really understands, because he's been a researcher, you know, doctor researcher his whole life. He understands when people are up there saying things that they're saying them and they sound good, but are they really, is there data that backs it? And he'll tell you yes, or he'll tell you no, or he'll tell you he's not sure. And he's the least arrogant person I know, which is probably why I like him so much. So if you want to take a break from the Tesla videos, you can start watching Dr. Westman. He puts out a couple a week, and Don and I always watch him. And I think it helps to train you about how you should scrutinize things you hear and whether they're right or they're wrong. Okay, so one of the things he addressed in here is eating cows bad for the planet. I'll let you come up with his conclusion. Well, I got Olivia's Cupcake Cafe put back together. I'm missing one of these magenta macaroni and one stickered seat cover. Otherwise, it's just right. I did have to hunt the little airplane landing wheel on the front of this card. I suppose I could have just... Well, the reason why they didn't put on wheels for the front is because of the little headlights that it would have rubbed. I actually tried it when I was having trouble locating this, but I found one. And this is Olivia's garden. There were actually two sets in there. Olivia's flower garden. Yeah, I recognized it right away. I had to substitute a couple of things on the one that I put back together today. The cart, the actual little garden stand is correct. And they both look good. You know, it's just that this is magenta, or the darker pink color. I guess this is... Anyway, there was a couple of changes, but it's all back together and it's cool, and, you know. But there were two in there, so I had to do some stuff, make it work. Well, we've had light rainfall for a couple hours now at least. Nice soaking in rain. No thunder, no wind, just nice light rain. Johnny's friend's parents brought him home from Campbell, so we did not have to go back out. It was mostly on their way where they were headed. They're from out of the area, so they were driving home. And, you know, one of those trips where it's just far enough that you need to spend a night in a hotel, but not so far that, you know, you can't drive back after the event. So they had come yesterday. Anyway, so we did not have to drive back down to the university. And Johnny's home. We're fixing to have St. Louis ribs. Panther's actually below me rubbing my leg. Not something he usually does. And, hi. Hi, bud. Hi. Good boy. All is good here. I think we're watching the last episode of Constellation on Apple TV tonight. I think it's 8. I think that's the last one, but we'll have to make sure. It's kind of like this series we watched on Netflix a few years ago called Dark. I think it was called Dark. A lot of time shifting, confusion. Got to really pay attention to it. We like For All Mankind better, but we're not sorry we watched Constellation. Anyway, that's what's going on here. Hey, bud. Hi. Hi, pretty